Welcome to Highest Awards Chit Chat. As March is the month of oh my goodness, I can't talk today. Advocating.
Advocacy. Phone a friend. We help each other.
Thank you. We are very excited to have Diane Hesselbein with us today, who is in our state legislature, and is also a Girl Scout volunteer. Welcome, Diane. Can you tell us about yourself and what you do?
Sure. Well, thank you so much for inviting me to this. And Cheryl, I'm glad that, you show that sometimes when you speak and you stumble, which I do all the time, you just have to keep trying and get going, because no one is like, oh my gosh, she didn't know that word, or oh my goodness. No, it's not the end of the world, and you just keep going because you have to keep going, and it's not a bad thing. So I'm so glad you showed us that today. It's super important. I'm sure I'll be doing that as we go along. So I am Diane Hesselbein. I'm in the state assembly. I was first elected to, Middleton Cross Plains Area School Board in 2005. I ran because I wanted to represent my community. We were thinking of moving district boundaries and where kids were going to go to school in different places. And I was at a public meeting and somebody said something that was really racist. And I was just shocked and sad. And I think this was 2004. And I was like, oh my gosh, who are these people? And it wasn't anybody that was on the board. It was somebody in the audience that said something terrible. But nobody said, we don't talk like that in our community, or we don't say those things. I stood up and I said, I don't want to live in a community where people think that way. So I ran. So I ran for school board 2005. I did that from 2005 to 2008. I then ran for Dane County Board. There was somebody on the Dane County Board who was representing me, and I wanted them to do something with green space with the Pheasant Branch. For those of you who don't know, that's in Middleton. And I called her and 3 times, and she never called me back. And I thought, well, that's rude. I mean, one time you don't get the message, 2 times, 3 times. And then she stood up on the floor and she said, well, I bet there's a school board member at home wondering what I'm going to do. Yeah. She didn't call me. And if she would have called me and said, I don't know, I'm not sure how I'm going to vote, I'm still thinking about it. But I thought that was terrible. So I ran for Dane County Board and I won in 2008. I did that until 2014. And then in 2012, I ran for state assembly. So I had 2 years where I was doing Dane County Board and state assembly, which was a lot, to be honest. It was really hard. I was in meetings all the time. But I ran because I really want to serve my community and be the voice for people and make change in a positive way. And so that's why I ran for public office. And I always tell people that you can do that. You can run for office and be a teacher. You can run for office and be a firefighter. You can run for office and be a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, or you can do it. And it just shows that all you need is someone that believes in you. And that's one of the reasons why when it comes to Girl Scouts, I am so passionate about Girl Scouts, because this is a safe place for you to try new things. And you might try new things and decide you hate it, right? When I was in 4th or 5th grade, I tried archery for the first time. And I was like super excited. I was going to be like Indiana Jones, or now you'd think like Hunger Games Katniss, or whatever. I'm terrible at it. I'm absolutely terrible at it. But you know what? I still like it. And if I was ever lucky enough to have girls that would invite me to go, I would totally go. I would just be lots of space around me, right? and I'd be super more paranoid than usual about safety because I'm not good at it, but I still enjoy it. And that's okay. It's okay to try things that you're good at and that you're not good at. I also like to do art projects. I'm not good at those either. It doesn't matter. I do it for me. So Girl Scouts is such a safe place for you to try so many different things. And I encourage you to try them all, even the ones that you're not comfortable with, especially when it comes to public speaking, because that's something you do all your life and it will always help you. And really push yourself to try public speaking in Girl Scouts, because you're going to have to do that in school, and you're going to have to do that on teams that you're in and clubs. And it just helps you get more comfortable in your own skin and realize that when you say something wrong, whether it's advocacy, and actually I had it written down so I could just read it, because that is a hard word, you don't think about it all the time, that you'll just get better and better at it. But anyway, enough about me. I feel like I'm always pretty boring. I hate blah, blah, blah talking about me all the time. Should we go into advocacy? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So one thing I'm here to talk about is how to advocate for your community. How do you get involved? When you read, and I'm hoping you guys do, I'm hoping you read the paper either online or maybe it gets delivered to your house. And when we're all back in school again, if you're not, look to see what's happening in your community, whether it's the school, what's going on. How do you get involved and how do you make change, especially positive change? So first of all, you have to identify what's going on, what's happening, and do you care about it? And let's be clear, that's a big one. So like with mine, I cared about this pheasant branch. We were trying to save this parcel of land from being developed. We wanted to keep it green space. So I cared about it. And I wanted this woman to vote for it. So I called her. You can call, you can email people that make decisions. Maybe it's a local issue. Maybe you live in a town, a city, or a village, and there's an ice skating rink that needs attention, right? You can call or talk to your mayor. You don't have to be 18 years old. You can be 8, 6, 5 and care about an issue. And I know Girl Scouts is so good at take action projects, but all the take action projects that you're doing, you can also inform somebody who's elected what the problem is. So let's say you have a take action issue. Let's say you help out the Humane Society. That's a great issue. I know a lot of Girl Scouts do that. You can also let your mayor know, your city council member know. Be sure you take pictures of yourself doing good things, because that can also get in the paper, which also helps other people do good things in the community. It's sort of like a snowball effect. Some people, when they really care about an issue, write letters to the editor. And if you have a community that has like a weekly newspaper, they will print your letter. It could be anything from stormwater drainage. Maybe when we're all back in school next year, you want a snow day, whatever that is. Maybe your lunches at school are terrible, right? Maybe you're just like, oh my gosh, these are just my kids used to say that they're just gross. These hot lunches are gross. Write a letter to the editor. Contact your school board members, tell them what's going on. Maybe with everything with this pandemic, maybe when we get back, you're going to want more recess time. Maybe there's something that you're going to need to say, hey, we've been cooped up and like I've missed like an hour. I missed all this like learning with people, but I missed like Phi Ed class. Like I don't even know how to play these games or whatever. You can advocate, talk to the teacher, say, I really want more PE time. I really want, talk to the principal, talk to the school board. So find out what are you passionate about and then who can help make that decision. And your teachers and parents can kind of help lead you in that direction of who can help make that decision. And so can your Girl Scout leader. Always remember that Girl Scouts isn't just this little thing like, oh, Girl Scouts is, Tuesday nights at 6. They're your friends and we're here for you for the whole thing. So we're here to help you with school. We're here to help you. Let's say you wanted extra tutoring. We're here to help you with so many different things than just that one meeting that you have with us a week or twice a month or however often you meet. So keep that in mind. Keep us as a resource because there's probably something going on that you care about. And also, if something big happens at the state level, keep me in mind, Diane Hesselbein. I'm a state representative. There are 99 state representatives in the state of Wisconsin. There are 33 senators. So every state senator has 3 state representatives. Like there's the district, there's the senator, and then there's 3 assembly people that represent that same area. There's also 2 federal state senators. And right now it is Tammy Baldwin and Ron Johnson, one Democrat, one Republican. So they represent all of Wisconsin. So you might see something happening at the US Capitol that you care about. And you can contact them or your congressman or woman too, because we have people in Congress there as well. So find out what you're interested in. And it can be anything. It could be save the trees. It could be women's issues. It could be, you name it, plastic. It could be water. It could be like I learned how to swim in the lakes in Dane County when I was a child. And now I feel really sad that a lot of times those lakes are closed. So that's something that I work on in the state level to try to figure out how can we keep those lakes clean so other people can swim there. So find out what you're passionate about. Maybe you want to do more canoeing. Maybe you're interested in that. And maybe you're like, well, I wish we could learn how to do this at school. Contact your teacher, contact your principal, contact your school board. Let your Girl Scout leader know what you care about, because we can also help you write letters to the editor. We can look at them for you if you need feedback. We can help you before you send an email to your mayor. I tell you, the best letters I've ever gotten are from students. And I just got 2 last week out of Ashton from 2 children that go to St. Peter's. One was about really kind of creative. They care about submarines. And they were wondering, will it ever be a time where we can travel with submarines? And would that be better for water in the oceans? Fascinating, right? Like thinking of a submarine as a transportation. So I totally looked into it. But I mean, talk about something I've never thought of before and how creative they were to let me know. Have you ever thought about traveling by submarines? What would that look like? And would that be better for the environment than air pollution? Well, so anyway, I'm writing my response. So, and we do respond. So keep that in mind too. We take these very seriously. Like I said, regardless of your age, we want you to get someone, want you to have a positive experience when you contact your legislator. So you do it again because we're all in this together. And that's one thing I hope you take away too, is that whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a voter, whether you're a non-voter, we're all trying to do the best we can. And the only way we can do that is if we keep going forward together.
That was incredible. Thank you. I really want to emphasize what you talked about with when you're trying to contact your mayor or trying to contact someone on city council or even state legislature. If you're not sure, using your other resources to do that. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone. Look for help in ways that you're going to do it. And you're represented in your area by a specific person. But that doesn't mean if you're looking for help to say, I want to present something to the state legislature, and you really don't know that person, but you know Diane, that you can't ask Diane for help also. Again, use your resources.
Absolutely.
Other thoughts on that, Diane?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And sometimes, you might live in a different area. So like I represent the far west side of Dane County, which is like Middleton, Wanakee, Westport, the Village of Cross Plains, and towns and surrounding areas. But let's say you live in, give me another area in the
Viroqua.
Viroqua, right. So I'm not even sure who represents Viroqua, but I can find out for you just like that, right?
And I should know, it used to be Lee, and it's whoever replaced Lee.
Nielsen. Okay. Yep. So, and I can't think of who that is off the top of my head either. I'm having one of those moments, but, right. So it's like, I would help you say, hey, it's this person, contact them. And then I would probably give this person a call who I work with and say, hey, there's a Girl Scout going to be contacting you. They had a question about this. And that way they'd be ready for the phone call or the conversation to happen. So don't be afraid to say, hey, or I'm wondering, I live in Mount Horeb and I care about this. And I'll say, oh, really? Well, your representative, Sandy Pope. Here's the number. And you can call or email her about your questions or concerns. So we're definitely, absolutely use your resources and we're happy to help. Or maybe you're going to clean up a park. Maybe there's a park somewhere that you're like, this is gross and dirty. Why do we have this gross and dirty park? Well, let's say you do that as a Girl Scout thing. You're going to call your mayor first and you're going to say, or your city council member or a town board. And you're going to be like, hey, why is this park a mess? Like, what's going on? Well, maybe they need a new trash thing, right? Maybe they don't realize that so many people are going to the park and they have small canisters and they need a larger trash thing. Maybe they need more frequent pickup. I don't know. I don't know about the trash thing, but you know who would? The person that represents that area. And that's how you can make permanent change. So you're like, okay, we're going to go clean up this park one time, but we shouldn't have to do this all the time because we have cities or city town services that can help us out with this. And people want to know the problems, because that's why we run for office. We're like fixers. Like, I am not a nurse. I could never do that job. I'm not a doctor. That is super hard, but I want to fix things and I want to make things better. And I really do believe that most people that run for office, that's why they do it.
And most offices also, you only have to be 18 to run for the office. So if you really want to start advocating and you really have that interest, as a young person, obviously we're talking to Girl Scouts, and most of us are in middle school or high school right now, but that is something that can be on your radar and that you can consider. Do you have any hints for that, Diane?
Absolutely. There's so many different organizations that will help you, regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican. You can to run for office, but don't forget, that's just like what I'm doing in state assembly and Senate, that we're Democrat or Republican. All those local people, I don't even know. That's not even anything. You don't have to be a Democrat or a Republican, because when I was on the Dane County board or on school board, nobody knew how I would lean to, because you really look at the issues. It's not Democrat or Republican. You just run. So definitely you should get involved. I'm so fortunate that a few years ago, I have a colleague that I work with, Kaylin Haywood. You should look him up. Kaylin Haywood, Haywood, out of Milwaukee. He got elected in the state assembly to do my job at 19. Okay, so he's 19 years old. He makes the same amount of money as I do. We have the same like health benefits. Like we do the same job, but he represents people in Milwaukee and I represent that Middleton Waunakee area. And he came to Middleton High School with me and we talked to seniors about issues. And oh my gosh, he was so cool, like doesn't wear socks and like cool dresser or whatever. And I got a kid that age, right? So I'm just like, oh my God, like I'm the old lady mom. But he's super fun and he keeps it real and he is doing a great job and he's going to school. So he's going to school and a state legislator and represents his constituents, doing a hard job because he wanted to make the part of Milwaukee better, right? And so I'm interested to see where he's going to go. So last session he was like 18, 19 when he first got elected, and then we had Fred Risser who was like 91. So we had like the oldest and the youngest in the state of Wisconsin. Now Fred has retired, but Kalen is still there. And I think he's still the youngest in the entire United States to have this job. But he's great. He's great. So he didn't wait. That's the other thing I'll tell you. Sometimes people say really stupid things. Actually, let's be honest, that can happen a lot. And sometimes what they say is like, oh, I think I might run for office. And people say, oh, you should wait. You know, other people are interested, or, you know, you don't have the experience yet. Go get your job, go figure that out first, or it's too hard. Don't ever listen to those people, ever, 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 because your voice is important. Your opinions are important and it's valid and we need it. I think some of the problems we're having today is because we're not having enough young people at the table, to be honest. And I think y'all are doing such a great job. And whenever I hear and see what the great things that you're doing, it inspires me. And I know that once you guys start running for election, you will win these elections. And we're going to be able to turn the tide of this country because you all have a great way of working together. Because people have been teaching you that your whole life. And people have been teaching you how to deal with bullies your whole life and how to talk in a way that is kind and assertive and not being mean at the same time. And that's stuff that sometimes, to be honest, I struggle with too. So I'm always trying to like practice what you preach. What you say is what you mean. Words matter. I think we're going to get there, but I think the only way we're going to get there is if you guys start running for things. And right now, like in Middleton, I don't even know when this is going to, like, people are going to watch this, but we have 2 young people running for school board. And there are 2 like recent graduates from Middleton High School, I'd say probably under 22, and then like maybe 19. And then they're running against somebody around my age, right? And people are telling them, oh no, you shouldn't be running. You shouldn't be doing that. You should wait. You should go get your education. You should go get a job. And it's like, who are you? Who are you to tell me not to do this or I'm not ready? Let the people decide. Nobody should be afraid to have an opponent. Nobody should be afraid of an election because the best ideas will rise. And those are the people that will win.
I agree. I have 2 additional stories. So a town a little bit over, which happens to be a different district, but it's Reedstown. Last fall, we had a young lady who was 18 years old run for the assembly seat. And it ended, she like beat the birth date cutoff thingy by like 2 weeks. Like she was super young. And she did not win, but let me tell you, that was a super, super close election. And she is rerunning again. She has not given up. She's going to run again in the next cycle. Another story, and this one's from New Hampshire, so it's not a Wisconsin story, but there was a young woman who did her Gold Award project on the marriage law in New Hampshire, because and I don't remember the exact ages, but the marriage law in New Hampshire was like 13 and 14 or 14 and 15, where you could get married at that age still now. And so her Gold Award project was to raise that age to 18. By the time she was done with her Gold Award, nothing had passed through the assembly, but she had raised a lot of attention. And shortly after that, New Hampshire did raise the marriage law to 16. She didn't quite get her 18, but she did get her 16. And because of all of that work that she did, She also ran for New Hampshire Assembly, and when she was elected, she was the youngest New Hampshire Assembly person there. She has since rerun and has earned her seat back. She became an Assembly person before she even had a driver's license.
That is fantastic. I mean, and that is the power of change. Really, that's wonderful. Yeah, we need more people running, more young people running.
Yep.
It's also fun to serve with them because they see things differently. And so, like I'll say to Kalen, oh, we tried that in, 2013 or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I was, however old that was. But it was just funny. And he'll be like, but now we have this, this, and this. Or, you don't just have to use Zoom. You can use this platform or you can do that platform. And it's like technology and that type of a thing. And it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to learn from him. And I think he likes learning from us too.
Yeah. But even if you don't run, you can still be a strong advocate in your community by just speaking up, attending your city or community board meetings, because they're not all cities. I'm from Illinois. Everything there is a city. Here, they're not all cities. Your village board meetings, your city board meetings, and speaking up, letting your voice be heard. And then that gives you the practice of being ready for the next steps. And you can attend the meetings even if you don't want to speak, and just listen and learn too, and listen to other people speaking.
Absolutely. You can also volunteer to help somebody else run. Maybe you're deciding, I can't run. I don't want to run. Like some people are like, I do not want to do that. That is not interest to me. Like how I said about nursing, like I love nurses. My God, they are heroes. I just could not do that job. I could not poke people. I wouldn't have the patience for it. I'd be like, just do this. I'd be terrible. So I know that about myself, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't want somebody else to be a nurse, right? Or it's like you can help volunteer in a campaign or help learn about issues that you care about, even if it has, maybe you're that one, maybe you're the nurse, right? Maybe you're somebody that wants to be a CNA or something with your life, and you're like, I want to help nurses. And then you realize you get into it and there's a problem. You know what the problem is right now? There aren't enough spots for people that want to be nurses in our education system. So that's something we're working on right now. But the reason we know that is because there are nurses, students that came up to us and said, we want to be nurses, but let's say there's a class of 30, there are 60 people that want to be nurses. And guess what? They're all super smart and they're all really, really good people, but we don't have the spots for them. So we're working on opening up our campuses so we can do more of that, especially like with Madison College with associate's degree, great place to go, and our technical colleges all over the state of Wisconsin. So you can take some of those credits there while we continue to work on creating more spaces at our four-year universities. But we didn't really always know that was a problem until people that went into that field educated us. And kind of to think of it, we say advocate, which is good because you care about an issue, but sometimes it's educate because we deal with so many different weird issues that we don't know everything and don't ever think we do. And so sometimes things that are happening in our community, whether I'm a state legislator or it's a town president or a school board president, they don't know, especially when it comes to school. Remember, we went to school a long time ago. So if there's something going on that you think is right or that you think is wrong, let people know, because we're here to help. And if something's going on that's not right, we need to know about it. But also keep in mind, you can also be letting us know what is going well. Let's say you love the hot lunch programs. Let's say I was completely wrong and they completely changed it. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. We're getting fresh food. Yay. You can be happy and like let people know this is going really well in my school and I'm really happy with how we're doing it. Or this whole year has been horrid with this pandemic, but my school district I know the people that are my teachers care about me because of what they do. I mean, that's great too. It doesn't always have to be a negative. It doesn't have to be that you want to fix something. It could be that you just want to tell people this is what's happening, because I guarantee you a lot of us don't know.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us, Diane. I really appreciate your time, and I'm sure that those who watch this video will also get a lot of great information out of it. This was really amazing. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And just if you do need that help at the state level, I'm going to put this out there. My number at work is 608-266-5340. If you're interested in working on a state issue and you don't know who your representative is or whatever, we're happy to try to connect you.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. And don't forget, Highest Awards Chit Chat is the first Saturday of the month at 9 a.m. and the third Monday of the month at 7 p.m. Thanks.